I found that these lilies are a new love for being back here in Indiana. Sometimes I get asked, why do you jump around on so many projects? Well, because things happen. You might be in the middle of storm cleanup and trying to get it done, and you want to run your excavator and it's dead, and being Jumanji house as it is, you find out that a chipmunk built a house inside the inner workings of the excavator. Some days you get up and find out the wind tore part of your porch roof off at night, or you find part of your chimney laying out in the yard that you have to repair, and these things interrupt the schedule. Sometimes, as we've already talked about, it's a 50 or 75 or 80 foot tall tree. Those are always sad, because some of those have been here since this home or this county was founded or longer. It's always hard to give up on those. Well, it's fun to live in amongst all these giant trees like this one. I don't know its diameter, but I think it goes up there 75, 80 feet. It is a tulip poplar, or is in the top of it in the spring. The bad side of living amongst these giant trees is things happen to them. Insects, disease, lightning, and eventually they come crashing down. And it was massive. I'd love to have a sawmill so I could harvest some of this old growth wood. Maybe one day I'll have one, because it'd sure be nice to harvest this and plank it so that furniture or something could be made out of that. Of course, I don't know what catalpa tree looks like. Maybe some of the stuff we get from China or something. Oh, some days the work is play. I'd rather be outdoors and operating something with an engine on it than doing woodwork and trim and concrete work and some of those other things that keep me so occupied here, but here we go. Not from around here, that big hairy vine, which is giant, is a poison ivy vine, which we have plenty of here. And it gets big and suckers up the trees, and of course it seems to take them out, kind of sucker the tree. little Welsh Terriers we'll be selling here in a few months. Vader, come here, bud. Show off your little red head. Always hunting, looking for something to chase. That is some beautiful grain though. And I look at this wood here, and that graining matches some of the wood a lot. Well, most of the wood that's in the house. I wonder if some of this catalpa was used when they built the home, put it together. There's a lot of poplar in it, and the big poplar tree is that big king daddy. But this one was just this area when we purchased the home. Of course, was all filled in with brush and briar, wild grape, poison ivy. And we cleaned this area out and seeded it in grass. Hopefully the damage on this wonderful black cherry doesn't overcome it and this tree survives, because we like it. All that was this way. And so where this gets wild, it gets full of poison ivy, poison oak, of course all kinds of insects that are annoying, no-see-ums, mosquitoes and other things. But when you're out here in the grass, the manicured part, they don't seem to come around so much. One of the funny things of this area where I'm standing now, we had a dirt pile here last year, and I came out to work one day, and as I was moving dirt, a whole bucket spilled of what looked like to be ping pong balls, kind of white to cream colored. And I thought that was the most weird thing. And it took me a minute. And then crawling around there in the weeds, I found the mommy snapping turtle. So add that to my Jumanji experiences. There is something satisfying about the fire. I could just set the camera out. Squirrels are quite the entertainment here. There's hundreds of them, different types. And yes, they like to pack things through nuts. Here's some of the nuts out of that tree. This whole pile here is eaten black walnuts. Half of it gets the nut out. They're all through here, all piled, because that hollow tree was full of them. I do appreciate them planting the walnut trees everywhere. Snapping turtle in the front yard. Got to keep the dogs out of it. Squirrel in the attic. We did find a note. This one's a little funny. We were working upstairs. Well, it's gross and funny. We were working upstairs and we found a note from a young girl who lived here years ago, and she was writing a letter to her siblings about their interactions, and this note had been sucked into the floorboards and embedded as part of a squirrel home, because there was a squirrel at that time coming up and getting in the eave of the house and then running through the floorboards. We found the note and the mummified squirrel in one of our projects. Just more for Jumanji house.